Hey, Mandy.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm getting ready in a few minutes. You realize I'm wearing your shirt?
Excuse me? Oh, yeah, no. Thank you for wearing.
Mm. Yeah, I know you were coming today, so I want to make sure to
Thank
make you
you for
happy.
inviting me.
Yeah, let me check on a few others because you actually come in early. Oh, there's Dr. Zhang. Y'all met in New York, remember?
Yes. Did I meet him in New York? Oh,
Yeah, we were walking back from that event
yeah.
and you show him how to get to the hotel.
Right. Hi, Yo Yan.
Oh, Mandy, huh? Oh, good to
Uh-huh.
see everybody again here.
Yes.
I'm trying to see maybe another two people express interest about coming, so I just wanted to check on them.
So we met at New York at a retreat, right? But du- is that during the not during the
Uh,
retreat, right? I
the
remember,
ACUA thing.
right? For Mandy, it looks familiar. Yeah. Anyway, good to
Yeah.
see.
I went to the ACUA and I sang in New York. I sang the national anthem in New York.
Mm.
Yeah.
So we went to the ACUA event. Remember, you were staying at the Sheraton, Dr. Zhang, and then we walked back from the dinner, right? And we had to pass some alleys and then she gave you direction on how to get back to the hotel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she is a great singer. Always go to event and sing beautifully. So
Hi, Celine.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to ask you to just chat for a minute because I have a little bit of noise here. I'm trying to position myself in a better place.
So Mandy, you live in New York, right?
No, I live in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
Oh, Florida. Okay, but
Yes.
you went to New York when we met last
Yes, I
time.
went to New York for the American United Chinese Association.
Oh,
Yeah, American
from
Chinese United Association.
okay.
I'm sorry I became late because I somehow put it down as 12 o'clock Central. I mean 1 o'clock Central rather than 1 o'clock Eastern. So my fault.
No
It's all right.
problem.
Looks like are you doing exercise or something? You're walking.
Yeah, I was at the club And then I saw her reminder, and I said, I must have screwed up again. I do that often. So I'll go and sit in the car, and that'll be easier.
How about you move to the East Coast and that way there's no more messed up?
I know. I thought about it. My son is in New York, so, but I haven't done that.
Okay, and was Norman here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Vivek, you moved. I'm planning to move back to New York area, so maybe we can find out.
Hi, Norman. How are you?
I'm good.
I like your glasses.
Now, let me say to you. Let me play the trick for you. You guys all look right.
Yeah.
I
see?
love Mandy's background.
Oh, thank you. It's my front door. My
Oh,
husband
Front
painted
door.
it.
Yeah, she's so ready for today's topic.
yeah.
So, let's go ahead and start. There's some other people, they would come when they can. So normally, so Mandy's first time, and some of us have been for a few times. So I just record the conversation. We usually warm up with some chatting, but before you know, we get into the real deeper part of the conversation, and we don't want to miss it, right? So I record the whole thing and then edit later into just a few minutes. But the recording, even though we may be talking to 3 to 5 people now, but once we record, edit, and post online, and there's going to be many more people that could be watching at any time on demand. So this is not a lecture. This is not making a statement. It's just honest reflection because we are people, we share our experience. And today's topic is what does being American ask of us? And um, I really just love Mandy's background because we're talking about being American. So, and she's a good singer too. I don't know if she would sing for us today, but we not always talking about being American as an identity, because when it's identity, then people are like, hey, you know, you're Asian American, you're African American, you're Latino American. But being American is more about the, you know, how we live, how we carry ourselves, how we participate, how we being a part of the society, how is different from many other country in this world that you know, we have such a mixed culture and diversity. How do we, you know, collaborate and live harmoniously together? So, Dr. Zhang is the lead initiator of the DOI 250AA initiative, and he always asks us, what is your American moment? What do you feel? So you feel proud to be you know, a member of this society here. So why don't you start something and then we could follow your lead? And we just bounce off each other on the conversation. You could talk about your own experience. You could talk about something that's totally unrelated to what the previous person talked about, because it's more than a panel. It's just, you know, a way for us to have our voice.
Okay, I'll start through some idea out there. And what is America, right? And one thing, my understanding of American is when we come from a country with long history, like China and others, I think the collective identity usually ahead of individual identity. We came here, we think we're Asian, we're Chinese, we have descended of a great culture and country and everything else because we were taught, we brought up that way. Came to America and I realized actually Americans start with individual. If you look at especially the Declaration of Independence, they basically try to define what's the individual, their relationship with a country. When they build this country, American, it wasn't inherited from dogma, religions, not monarchy, no king, and of course they are separated from the king of England. So they end up with just take this actual as everybody has a fundamental right at birth. So that's where it come from. This whole a natural law. Everybody born with as individual, as a human being with certain law. That is something I didn't quite understand when I first came to this country, but now I more and more I realize that's really the essence of being American. We're all free human beings, free individuals, and we come together no matter where you come from. So what defines you, what bonds this country together is not blood, it's not a culture. Well, to some extent, yes, religion is important, Christianity, and we understand that. But fundamentally, this country is not bound by culture and blood, but we bound together by a set of ideal. It's a concept, which I believe is a milestone of humanity. Actually, when human, from the kingship, from the religion, from other things bound together, now become a constitution bound together, a set of ideal bound together, and we're all born equal. That concept is what I really learned about America, being American. And one concrete example, when I first came to this country, and I came here to study sociology. So my professor got all of our foreign students together at the time, foreign students together. Everyone were forced to say something about what you feel. You come here as a different culture. And I remember when they pushed to me, I said one thing I immediately realized the difference is when I start writing letter back to my home. And I start with, in Chinese tradition, you start with China, Beijing city, and then the district we live, and then the number, for the street, a number, and then my father or my mother's name. But on here, I start by my own name, and then my street, and then my county, and the state, and USA. So it's total reversal of the sequence. To Americans, they take that for granted, but to me, just come from another country, when you write letter, you all of a sudden realize a different. But I proposed that to my professor. I said, this could maybe a sociological reason. So that's, to me, actually reflecting this society. The orientation is toward individual identity. You start with yourself. But in China, you've always been taught the collective identity, your country, right? Your province, your family is always ahead of you. Anyway, just want to throw that out. That's some kind of thinking observation I have as a social scientist, to observe how a society come together, how humanity actually move forward, why there's different civilization, why there's different cultures, different traditions. So those are things I guess my profession trained me to do, but that helps me over time to understand what is of being American, what is being American, right, as an individual. So I'll stop here, right here. Thank you. Just threw some idea out there.
Well, while we're waiting for them to come back, being an American, yes, I immigrated to Massachusetts, Boston since 1984 from Hong Kong, China now. I always appreciate the patriotism, the flag. Yes, I'm very patriotic always. I love the Pledge of the Allegiance. Those words are very meaningful to me, and the national anthem, and God Bless USA. I try to participate in many events as possible, singing the national anthem or any patriotic songs to build up the group and also remind we don't forget about the flag and our country, and also thank people who serve this country and give us the freedom today. And I believe in American dream very much. That's why we are here. We got to do this because America is a land of opportunities and possibilities. If we put our mindset to it, we can turn the impossible into possible. And look at us today. We can receive higher education if we work hard. Instead of sitting back and do nothing, we can have a lot of funding, government support to go to school. I'm grateful I got full scholarship to attend Boston College. And after I graduated, I went to Boston University for my master. I was able to work full-time after I graduated, and the company support me to go for my master degree. If you look for opportunities, you can continue to rise. That is the American dream that we live out. And to reflect America, also being a role model, because the world look upon us. We can't just act like not being a responsible person. We have to reflect America in a positive way and not in a division. We have to be united. That's why we are called United States, bringing people together. And that's my take. We'll leave it to the next person who's ready.
Mandy, since you just start, I was also from Hong Kong, 1979,
Oh,
came here from
great.
college. And I was thinking before we start, when we see you and know you're a singer, I was thinking of one day I'll hear you sing the American anthem. I think that you mentioned that you love to do, which bring us together, the spirit. And also, what I think is I always have a harmony or a vibration when I was in DC, because when I see the word like at Thomas Jefferson's the memorial, a particular livelihood and the pursuit of happiness. One time, so then you know why how we both were there and we were really just reading it aloud, really reciting it aloud, all the words in the whole. That's amazing. And also, just one thought come to mind. Also, the Mount Rushmore, right? The 4 presidents and all those founding fathers. The dream, although at the time is way back, and we still have a lot of inequality, but they already, like really map out for today's. Although we are still full of faults, right? Not perfect at all, but we have basically equality of people to pursue their own dream and happiness, pursuit of happiness. So that's wonderful, and I still really quite inspired by that. Next, Vivek, and
Vivek, speak. You're mute.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause I ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. I did the
Thank you,
opening
Mandy.
for
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
That was absolutely wonderful, and that
great.
it gives me a little bit of a slightly different perspective because all four of you share what I call it as the Chinese civilization, which is probably one of the oldest that there is. On the other hand, I also come from a civilization which is the Indian civilization. And as a matter of fact, that is almost a related civilization to what happened in China because there was a total neighborhood between the two. And while growing up, I always experienced the idea of why is the war with China and India take place in 1960s, and what role did United States play in that to stop it. And as I was I was at the University of Michigan the very first year that I was there in Ann Arbor. We celebrated, as I remember, the first Earth Day as at a university, at least in Ann Arbor. And that had such an impact on me because I was working with the NASA Laboratory Space Physics Research Lab as a research assistant right after my undergraduate degree in IIT Delhi. And I was really not realizing that considering Earth and the nature is something that people have to formally celebrate because they are ignorant. That was my reaction when I was involved in the organization committee of Ann Arbor, and I shared some of that, and I was probably very enthusiastic in celebrating the Earth Day because to me, nature is the giver of everything, and whatever we get is fed by nature, which in some ways, as I shifted from my engineering PhD program to the MBA program, because I was given the impression business of America is business. And I said to myself, what do I really like? I like to work with people. I like to be treating the other human being as totally equal. And let me take a second back and go back to when I was coming to America. I had a 3-day orientation program at the U.S. Information Service or Agency, and because they wanted to make sure that you understand at least something about the history and what you would encounter as a culture. And one of the things that I distinctly remember is that's when I realized the beauty and the greatness of American individualism because we studied the Declaration of Independence and the idea that everybody is created equal with unalienable rights, which is self-evident. And the question that I always used to say is, maybe I'm missing something. It is not self-evident anything to me. Because at that point in time, we used to sign our letters by saying yours obediently as a child when I was growing up. And I said to myself, I can't be obedient to every person and everybody that I'm writing that is in greater authority or is older than me. I am a free individual. And those were the questions that I raised in as a child even. And so at a point in time, I started signing all of my letters and saying, yours sincerely. I am sincere to you as a human being and as a fellow human being. And this had all happened in my background before I even took that idea of the coming to America and took that 3 year. It was a 3 days full program from morning till evening with about 50 plus people in the class. And so I knew about the Declaration of Independence and I knew about what it meant and what does individualism mean. And I felt that I should get out of the idea of a very structured society, which in some ways India was, and we lived in a family structures rather than living in a government structures to speak of. And I, even today, I can say that a average person on the street has more freedom to speak in India than in some ways, sometimes you feel that everything in this country has become politically correct. And I found when I went for admissions for my kids into colleges, and they were emphasizing all of the facts related to saying, you should be politically correct about this, and you should be politically correct about saying or doing this. And I never really understood that. But going back to the Earth Day, and that's where I had a good career in the corporate world, but that's where I realized that the corporate world also was made up of little bit of yours obediently and loyalty being much more important than I was willing to give it. And that is what led myself to start my own management consulting when I quit the corporate world on a disagreement that I had. And I said, our job is to create value for our client, not so the whole idea of fee for service, which is how the whole consulting industry was organized until that point in time, we use the idea of saying we are value creators. And we want to actually create value for our client, not just take the information from one client and then cookie cutter approach to all the other clients. And I just felt that the individualism versus how the institutions were created in the Second World War or after the Second World War, when we did realize United States became a better empire because of that Declaration of Independence, but people have never really spent time and energy in understanding that, to me, Declaration of Independence was like a vision statement which was absolutely motivating, inspiring, and totally innovative and unique. But the intervening years that we spent to get to the Constitution required a revolutionary war. And that was a very violent impact, which to me today, I look at it as a collaborative effort, not as a competitive effort. And it was the collaboration of the masses that allowed those people to fight the greatest ever empire that had ever been created, and in the name of globalization, of business and trade. And that's where I kind of look at it in saying, what is going on today in the world, and how do we look at the 15% of the population that we call as the G7 population versus the rest of the world, and how do we relate to that? And I think the United States has a amazingly unique opportunity in 2026 as we celebrate the 250th anniversary of that Declaration of Independence, and renew that whole commitment given what has happened in the intervening 250 years. And I think being an American is beyond just an individual. It is an idea and an experiment that started 250 years and has gotten us to where we are today. And the question is, do we need to start a DOI 2.0 beyond the Industrial Revolution as we go through the cognitive revolution with the help of AI, AGI, and what I call it as the synthetic biology that is already in practice and has been developing really fast. And that's sort of what I think an American is, to continue the experiment of leading towards universalization of that Declaration of Independence. So that's sort of my take, and I really appreciate Celine and all of the Chinese population in this country that has befriended me. And we have an opportunity to create a new civilization, which I call it as the Chindus civilization, which has China, India, and US trying to perpetuate dominion and dharma identity issues that is being raised in my website, dddI.net. And I would appreciate all of the people to come together and collaborate to use technologies to create a future which is really golden for all, because the idea of nation state as it was conceived in the Westphalian agreements is no longer applicable because of the evolution that has taken place. And it was the Great Awakening that took place before the Declaration of Independence was created. And I will always remain thankful to people like Locke and Montesquieu, who really inspired, after hundreds of years, to create that Declaration of Independence. But between that vision statement of declaration to when we implemented it as a constitution, we had to go through a lot of violence. And do we really need to go through another set of might is right kind of violent competition? Or can we really learn to collaborate as human beings, is my sort of little wish that we can create. And that's what motivated me into saying we can create Chinese, Indian, US citizens to come together in this country and help everybody else see that collaboration can work in reality rather than just having to compete.
You have your book here. So this is the book here, right? And I think Vic, I suggest you to put down your website on the chat so people can really go visit it, or else the dot or D we may miss something, right? But
Yeah,
like this is
thank you.
his book, right?
Thank you. And I'm just I mean I did
Dominion
not
and Dharma.
I have to say that I did not hesitate 1 minute when the opportunity after my 5 years being here, somebody said, well, a lot of Indians are not taking citizenship. I said, I am adopted to this system, number one. Number two, I am a product now of this system as much as I may have been a product of the Indian system at one point in time. And that was what motivated me, what Norman just showed, my first book, Dominion and Dharma. And since I'm on my cell phone, uh, uh, I will appreciate if Norman or Celine, can you put down the website in the chat, dddi.net. And I'm not trying to sell more books. I'm simply trying to spread a message of saying collaboration rather than competition.
Yeah, I would not be able to type, so Celine can help. Yeah. Okay, so really,
And I welcome to have one-on-one dialogue with any of you. I would love to have you refer me to other people who may have an interest in really talking about Declaration of Independence 1.0, where it came from, why it happened, how it happened, because I spent almost 4 years in going through the University of Chicago basic program about where does the Western thought really come from, and what do we call as West, what do we call as East. And and I'm proud to tell you that because my cohorts were always saying, we don't know, we read the same damn thing, but we don't know where this guy comes from in the discussion of the same passages, till at one point in time, the dean explained in saying, because he did not go to Sunday school. And I have still to really grasp the full depth of that meaning by that particular one sentence, and how we get enculturated, as I call it in all of my clients, and how we need to become truly free as a human being who looks at the other human being as a free person. And that is where I feel that the idea of soul even came from.
Thank you, Vivek. Um, Usually when you have your speech, I would edit them into 4 or 5 mini videos just so that it's always like, the 3 to 5 minute size, uh, so that, people can uh, focus and concentrate and get your message piece by piece. And, thank you always for having so much to share with us. And to me, being American is it's a very unique identity, unique position because, like Vivek mentioned earlier, cookie cutter, and a lot of us, when we came from a very traditional root kind of place. If you came from Hong Kong and then US, or if you came from the Caribbeans and then the US, or the European countries and then the US, there's a, a, a level, a step in between coming straight from uh, a country with long traditions and directly to the US because it's so different. Cookie cutter is more like how, when I was going to school, I had to sit up straight. And if I turn my head a certain way, if I look at the classmate next to me, I'm gonna get punished for that, and I was have to stand at the back of the class. Different things that has to be structured, and that is because of the population, the discipline, and sometimes it's just needed because when you have so many individuals, and if they can all be uh, having that individual freedom, it could go chaotic. Um, but coming to US is so different that you get to meet people with all kinds of background, all kinds of story, and then it's not a inward facing story anymore. It's not a cookie cutter. It's not like, hey, if you are from this origin, you're supposed to be one way or the other. And the perspective just, your view just expands. And even though there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of news about the scrutiny of immigration today, they are still people trying to smuggle or somehow come in the United States, regardless of how much trouble they have to go through, how much risk they have to take, money they have to pay for the middle people. Either they didn't know that it's being cracked down here, or they still feel like United States is the place to go compared to wherever they are. And that tells you how this country is being looked at as a place of possibility, not just opportunity, not just something that's already proven, set in stone. Uh, the declaration say everybody equal. Not all of that was 100% done and ready, but still people see the possibility and they want to come and experience that. And when Mandy sang the song, when she talked about the military, the troops protecting us, if you look at uh, the history of this different wars going on, other than Hawaii, um, none of the places in the mainland has been a war-torn place by a foreign enemy. Um, in the way of civil wars and internal conflicts, that's different. But still, our military is protecting this land, protecting us from getting invaded from, like an outside enemy. So in terms of being a participant of this society, we have the opportunity to exercise leadership. And this is where everybody is equal, everybody is welcome to contribute as you are, come as you can. Because in some places, there's a hierarchy, um, the social status, the social level, and certain voices cannot be spoke up or be heard. And there's restrictions one way or the other. But here is a lot of open opportunities to contribute. And if one way a certain group feel like, it's not a tradition, is not accustomed to them, there's opportunities to do it some other ways as long as it could still possibly impact the society or people around you. And for a lot of people, when they in leadership, when they lead, it involves the emotional intelligence because they're reacting to things. So their emotion takes over on the leadership. Someone who may be a little bit more dominant, someone who may be a little anxious, and you could see by the way they try to lead their community or organization. Some people may be a little calm, and that is the emotional intelligence because they are able to process information. And also that involves the culture intelligence as well, because when you understand the different cultural norms, cultural value, and the way people do things, then you interact with people in a more um, understanding manner rather than, for example, if I'm standing here and somebody come very close to me to talk, and to them in their culture, it may mean I'm paying attention to you. I want to pay respect to you. That's why I'm standing close. But to another person that feels like, you're intruding my private space. I don't like it. So having being able to live in a society that has multiple background, multiple culture, we have the opportunity to learn this kind of things piece by piece, little by little, by different daily experience. And we process that information so that we it's different if we were just in like a structure and cookie cutter environment. If this doesn't fit me, then I don't know how to respond. So it gives us a lot of opportunity. And being American, we have the responsibility to keep it that way because this is how everybody can live harmoniously and work together, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in like a economic exchange, um, and some other things. So I think this is very unique compared to any other place that we may have come from.
I think that is so beautiful, Celine, and that's why I always try to steal whatever time I can to chat with you. And I welcome to opportunity to chat with Dr. Zhang and Mandy, just to expand my own thinking rather than rely on the research and my individual experiences only, because I can tell you that even though the book was written primarily for my grandkids, I do want my grandkids to have a better United States and their grandkids to enjoy a more peaceful and prosperous United States, because they are not going back. And that is a realization that a lot of the immigrants that have come here, they feel torn between two different societies sometimes. And I feel that I was very fortunate that I never did. From the day that I heard President Kennedy talk about going to the moon, I was inspired by that kind of a vision, which was further solidified into the vision when I learned about the Declaration of Independence before even coming here. So it was not at all difficult for me to adjust and adapt myself to the society and the system that I am in. And my father used to tell me, you know, at that point in time, there used to be a Pan Am Airlines, and the travel agent came and he said, you know, how would you like to go? And what are your special requirements? I said, I've never sat in a plane. What kind of special requirements can I tell you? And he said, well, are you a vegetarian or are you a non-veg? And my dad looked at me and he said, he's going to do in Rome as the Romans do. And to me, that has become my mantra over the last since celebrating that Earth Day till today is to say, how can I make the other life better? And can I adapt? Should I adapt? Or should I really challenge? And when should I challenge and when should I adapt between the two possibilities? But there are multiple possibilities of how the 8 billion people on this earth can contribute and relate to each other. And that is where I say I use the technique of alignment with each one of my clients in creating value, which goes beyond just the formulation of strategy or formulation of a vision to actually implement that vision before we want a piece of the pie. And I always, that is how I was successful in being able to quit. And in 1999, I said, the new century or the new millennium that we are going to start should start with me truly understanding what is the Western philosophy and what is the Eastern philosophy and how the two relate to each other. Because the idea of what Rudyard Kipling, the Nobel Prize winner, said about East is East and the West is West, and the twain shall never meet. If that still remains the motto of the day, then human species as we know it today has a very bleak future. And I don't care who wins in Iran war or not win or lose. The question is, can we have civilizations evolve at different rates and different ways to contribute to the great innovation which the 13 colonies picked 56 people who signed on that Declaration of Independence document? And can we create a vision which is better for the current times than what that vision may have entailed at that time? And can we have another awakening 2.0? And I recommend people in our group to go see this movie, The Awakening, because that is the awakening that took place before the Declaration of Independence could be made possible. And before that awakening could happen, we had people like John Locke and Montesquieu from France that contributed to the spine of that whole idea of that resulted in the vision of Declaration of Independence in 1776. And as we celebrate this 250th anniversary, and especially as an Asian American group, because that's what you labeled when I joined the group, and I really think that there is something we can do with creating a better world for all while maintaining the American dream to live for the next 250 years at least, and to create a American civilization which is better than any other civilization and sets as an example the same way as the Declaration did in 1776. So that's sort of my and Celine, you have amazing personality and amazing capabilities, and so does everybody else that is in this group.
I want to
Go ahead.
I want to chip in something. I mean, thank you. I was smiling or laughing. It's really from my heart because I just want to give a little context, not too long. I grew up loving airplane, airport, and these things because my dad worked there the whole life that I see. So when he talk about Pan Am no longer exists. But I was on the first 747 that visit Hong Kong. It's a Pan Am. I was not flying on it, but I was at the Goosehead. At the time, the Goosehead is a new design. Okay, it's like the A380. Somebody may be on it. I was not. Yeah, not yet. But that's why I laugh. I mean, not laughing at the whatever here. Is this bring me smiles, and also what happened this Easter that the F-15E weapon officer was rescued. It's just like an amazing thing, you know. Of course, people have the other side of thinking, but all this, and also I look at the book, Vivek's book. Okay, it's right in front of me. It's right at the region of the Persian Gulf and Africa. So we are all linked, or we are in America now. So these are those things that come to my mind, and I see more about. I don't know, Vivek. I think next edition, you got to. Do you design the cover? Who designed the cover? Really, very good.
I decided everything in this particular book,
Wow,
and
you're an artist.
I am
You,
in the
you
process
have
of
the sun
writing a
and the
second
earth
book.
and linkage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it all come to my mind. Yeah, like all these things. And also congratulations, Vivek. That's your dream of the moon exploration or the universal exploration that bring you here, right?
Yep.
Originally. And your
Absolutely.
journey haven't ended yet. You may
Nope.
come back because salute to those people that are flying back from the moon. They broke the record already of all the Apollos. They are on the other side of the moon and coming back. So all these are happening. I want to stress this. That's why I'm quite excited to be with all you guys and listen. And Mandy is not history. It's history in making.
Yeah.
Because I know in your age, I would say I saw the moon landing on TV, the small box. I think black and white, maybe start to have color in Hong Kong. You know, and we all get together or stepping on the moon. As is it what they call the one little step of me and a big step for mankind. Remember those, right?
Yes.
And Vietnam War. Now we are in war again, but of course it's hopefully they call a conflict, but not a war, a full blown, and it will stop that. Yeah. So I'm jumping around, but all like what Vivek said, we are all linked together by all these different events.
Thank you, Norman.
And Vivek didn't ask me to promote his book, but I happen to have it in front of me.
Thank you very much, Norman. And I think that the purpose of the book, I want to write a book about the Iran war and civilizational memory that is taking place right now, and how we may end. Because as we celebrate our Declaration of Independence in 2026, we have an opportunity to create, with the help of artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and all of the exponential technologies which have been developed to a great extent by not just people who were from American civilization, but they brought diversity from everywhere. And I call it in saying we are moving from a Newtonian physical world to a phygital world of Einsteinian relativity, and how will that be handled with our Declaration of Independence 2.0? And that is where we need to bring all of the various talents. And it always reminds me of e pluribus unum. And if anybody has looked at their dollar bill, it says E pluribus unum. And what does that really mean? And does it mean for nationalism to grow up, which will create a bigger disaster? Or should we want the universalism to grow up, which will make the human being really realize its fullest potential as it was outlined in the Declaration of Independence? And it is time for us to renew that Declaration of Independence with in a realistic manner as we celebrate the 250th anniversary and produce a book or a document or a something which really talks about the celebration of DOI 250 AA. And what does that AA really mean? It is not to.
Dr. Chang, I think I can suggest.
No, Celine,
I
I have
suggest
to
Dr. Chang and
yeah, I have to be
you.
off now. It's
I'll shut up too.
yeah, I have another meeting
Thank
coming.
you.
Oh, Dr.
Nice
Chang,
meeting
can
everybody.
you
Good
give us a
topic.
Great
five
meeting
few
to
words?
you all. We'll see
Right.
you all again
Okay.
soon.
Okay, yeah, this chat is usually scheduled for an hour, so I do want to respect everyone's time, and we have continuous panels, so we can always talk offline or come back to another panel. Next time we'll have more different topic, so and maybe a different group of people. So the purpose is really to encourage participation as Asian Americans to lead the participation for American 250 because we have the inward facing message and community. We always talk about ourselves. The messages, hey, we write, we pat our own backs and say, hey, we did the right thing, good job. But we have to interact with the community at large and through America 250 because so many events, people come together for one celebration. The opportunity is to meet a diverse society and whatever impact that you have at different level. Some of you have books. Mandy has her Raising Global Music, and everyone has different ways to impact and to make better collaboration with the community at large. So that's our purpose. And thank you everyone for joining. For whoever wants to stay, I'll keep the chat open, but you're not obligated to stay.
I will see you at the next panel. Have a
Thank you
blessed
so
afternoon.
much.
It's
Love
been
you,
an
And
honor
Celine.
maybe
to be
great to
part
meet
of.
you here.
Yes, we keep in touch.
Yeah, and I'm in Chicago, and Vivek also.
Yes, okay. We'll go to Vivek's book signing next time when you have the new book. I can do the singing.
Well, but that'll be amazing. I mean, I would love
Oh,
it.
actually, before you all go, Vivek, I was trying to suggest, not I was trying to because I didn't realize this. I thought it's an hour 15 minutes or hour 30 minutes. But Dr. Chang and you, maybe one of us, a few of us, maybe two of you at least, can collaborate to write a new book about DOI 250 AA Asian. Okay?
I
Yeah.
would love to have that opportunity, and Celine,
Yeah.
whatever
And then also we
mediation
we
you
can all
can
contribute.
provide.
Okay?
Yeah,
I know I'm not a book writer, but at least I can contribute a few ideas.
Yeah,
super.
we are writing a book, but
And
after
Mandy
we
also.
have done what we need to
Okay.
do first.
Thank you.
Yes, you can all travel around US to all the major cities for book launching. We'll support that effort.
Yeah.
Come to
And
Thank
Vivek,
you.
Florida
we'll talk
also.
afterward. If you later on this afternoon, maybe I got some idea too. Yeah,
Okay,
because I in the last 24 hours I got some idea about books. Okay. Yeah.
I'll call you.
Okay, I'll leave too. Okay, so you don't need to let the room open. So then maybe I'll call you somewhat myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
It's been an
day.
honor and
Thank
Yeah, have a
you.
great
pleasure.
day.
Best wishes. Yep.
A great week.
250, America 250.
Yeah.
Yeah, America to be, yay.
And
And
I
have more people join us.
apologize to Celine if I got carried away, which I generally do, and because it is so important for me that we leave a better world for our grandkids,
You
whatever we
have
can do.
Oh,
so
I
much
see your background
content.
too. You still have the NASA not NASA, exploration background, right?
Yeah, yeah,
A view from the space to Earth. Okay, so you should be
Yeah.
the one of
yeah.
the mission
We
specialists.
Vivek
And
have so much content, even though we talk for hours and he come here, he could talk for hours. But I will tell you, that's like probably less than 1% of what he has.
well, I keep generating, and I am trying to put it all in the current context rather than only historical context. And that is why I touched the whole idea. I was really shocked when the president of my country says we will wipe the civilization off the map. And I think human beings have to preserve that Earth Day. If we don't have an Earth, all of us will not be able to move to the Mars as easily as we may be thinking. And those are the kind of things that we can continue this DOI 250 AA far beyond the 2026 as a human project is my dream. If and I'm happy to work with anybody to help realize that dream while I'm still on this earth.
Since we are talking about ourselves, let me say this. Just this is the first 250. So right after 4th of July, we are starting the next 250. So we are writing the trail. Well, we are creating the trail and the pathway for the next 250 to come. And of course, we are not here, right? Those of us who believe in resurrection or to another life can
Yeah,
come back here to see it, but we can create it,
sure.
definitely, yeah, as long as we live, right? Okay, bye bye.
Thank you.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Celine, for encouraging me, and you are an inspiration to me in terms of saying, hey, you know, I'm here to hold your hand if you need it.
You have so many things. That's just tip of the iceberg in a good way.
Yeah, yeah. I hope it is all in a good way, and I, as you probably know, I started on trying to create this Chindus project in 2006. And the idea of Chindus was very simply to say, how can two ancient civilizations like ours be divided because of the whatever the has happened in the 20th century, because the 20th century was only 100 years, which made America great, even though the journey really started in 1776, or as I mentioned today, from the awakening that was buried into the age of discovery itself. And now that we are completing the 100-year cycle, and the 500-year cycle, a new kind of humanity is ready to emerge. And let us, as the civilizations, you don't realize probably that most of the inventions.
Norman, we're still talking on.
Okay, I'll shut up. Yeah, bye. Were you recording all this?
Uh, yeah, I'm sorry. He was just calling me. I
Okay.
said, Norman, if you haven't finished talking, why'd you get offline?
Okay. Well, because he wants to talk to you, and you have an amazing personality, Celine. And I just, I'm so thankful that you came into my life in one way or the other. I have to make sure that my wife meets you, and you can do the same magic on her than you did to me.
I don't know about that. So, but yeah, I'm just, trying to maintain the balance doing what I'm doing because
Yeah.
there's too many things that I have to handle.
I know, I know, I know, and that's why I'm more concerned about how we can provide an infrastructure around you rather than anything else. So,
Yeah. We'll work it
okay,
out. We'll see.
yeah, okay.
So
Talk
have
to
a
you.
good day.
Bye,
Okay.
bye,
Bye-bye.
bye. Hey, if you have a transcript of today's conversation, I will really appreciate it.
So what I do is I edit, um, cut out the beginning of hi, how you doing, that kind of
Yeah,
thing. And then I make them into the different videos.
yeah.
And then I post them. So once that is done, I will send to you.
No, but can you send me the raw transcript of today's session?
I have to find a way to do that because I record the whole entire
That's what
video.
I'm saying, that
Yeah.
you can send me the whole thing, and I'm not trying to use it for anything but to refine my own thinking.
Yeah, I can. So it would be the whole entire video.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not a transcript because
No.
you
Okay.
have to go through some apps to extract the words out for the
Yeah.
transcript.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I mean, just send me the whole recording, and then I will tell
Hey,
you
there's
what.
Wei Hao.
Yeah. Pardon me.
Hey.
Hello.
What time zone are you in? We were People already logged off. We lost like one, two, three. Yeah, three people already left.
Oh, so fast?
Yeah, well, I usually have it for an hour because it's middle of the day. People, have to go and do different things. But hey, since you're here, I don't want to waste the opportunity.
Hi, Vivet.
How are you, my friend?
I am
I
well.
saw your post and I loved it. I think we can really talk about two things. One is the whole idea of health from a holistic perspective, which is what I think you are trying to do, and the other is health of just body is called healthcare, but we have to think about education as being the second pillar of that health and how the two come together. So I would love to have a conversation with you on that whole idea, but I don't want to keep Celine from you having the conversation with Celine, whatever you want.
We don't have specific conversation. It's all thank you for the acknowledgements.
Yeah,
Definitely health. Health is
yeah,
the compasses of well-being.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
I
I would,
want to encourage more conversation on the group chat. Some this is, I think, what we talked about earlier too, about the structure. And some people just came from a very traditional structured management style of organization, and they know their place. They don't want to overshadow. They don't want to talk the wrong thing. They don't want to expose themselves for having a question or, a recommendation. And I get lots of private messages of people just commenting on things that are happening on the group chat. I'm like, why are you talking to me? Talk to the group, please. And Vivek, if you had any comment about Wayhouse posts, post it on the group, because there are other people may be thinking of the same thing. And
Okay,
if you don't, then somebody else gonna call me.
that's fine.
It's like, I know. Then there's,
Okay, I'm gonna leave and
oh,
then
why?
we will set up some time to chat if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
talk to you.
Yeah, just WhatsApp me a time works for you. Yeah. You in Chicago?
Chicago. Where are you?
California.
Oh, I'm going to be in LA end of this month,
Oh, really?
and
I'm in
yeah,
San Francisco area, so
I'm going to be attending a conference from 21st or 22nd to 25th. So, if you are somewhere around, I would love to say hello to you in physical world.
that would be a 6 hours drive away.
Uh-oh.
Possible. Yeah. No, we agreed to set a time to chat. Glad to meet you, and yeah, let's connect and let's expand together. I have a few contact in Chicago, including Norman. So
Oh, great, great.
yeah, and
That'll be good. And
Yeah, Norman's a good friend of Vivek. Actually, Norman introduced him.
yeah, I know. We are all connected by Norman. Norman and I.
yeah, and Norman and I used to talk often after that incident in Chinatown in Chicago, and
Hmm.
so he and I painfully bonded on the issue of hate crimes in Chicago. So
Yes, yes, yes. We talked to that victim family actually. Me and Norman actually was on a call with the wife of
yeah,
the victim. So it was a very impactful event, and yeah, so we did a video on it and invited the wife and the family actually came on the call,
yeah.
and
I was there. He asked me to just attend that because I was interested in saying the one project that we really need to consider for the United States itself on this 250th anniversary is how do we convert all hate into love?
mm, yeah,
And if we don't, then you know it's all that we have been able to accomplish so far would become a problem because I'm sure in California you probably realize what is going on in the name of polarization, from a political polarization to an economic polarization to a social polarization, and that's where I always say the word e pluribus unum. Do we really understand what every dollar bill really says? E pluribus unum, and in God we trust. And what do those words mean? within the context of what I call it as the Declaration of Independence. So if I would love to have a collaboration with you in as we prepare the little bit more of the publicity for the DOR 250 AA.
Sure, definitely. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
So, Wei Hao, since you are here, do you want to do a recording